Anthony Stokes scores twice in a 3-0 win against his old team Hibs at Easter Road as leaders Celtic stay 5 points in front. Rangers have games in hand and meanwhile, with Vladimir Weiss on top form, put 4 goals past Hamilton at Ibrox. Scunthorpe target Connor Salmon makes it 16 Kilmarnock goals for the season, but St Johnstone fight back for a draw. Scott Vernon is the scoring star for Aberdeen as their recovery continues with a home win against St Mirren. And after a goalless draw with Inverness, Motherwell have still to score an SPL goal since Stuart McCall took over as manager. Catching up on the midweek action you might have missed, Celtic were held to a draw by Hamilton at New Douglas Park. No offside as Simon Mensing headed Aki's in front. Teenage Celtic winger James Forrest seemed to be harshly sent off for this challenge on David Buchanan. No argument though for the red card shown to Hamilton sub Jim McAllister, who was on the pitch for less than a minute after scything down Mark Wilson. A stoppage time penalty for Celtic when Emilio Izaguirre was obstructed by Mensing, and a dismissal to go with it. Aki's down to 9 men. Anthony Stokes beat Thomas Cherney from the penalty spot, 1-1 final score. Another rearranged SPL game saw Dundee United beat Motherwell at Tannadice. Johnny Russell scored for the home team early in the second half. And the win was tied up in the 90th minute when David Goodwillie scored his 12th goal of the season. 2-0 United. And on to the 22nd round of games in the Clydesdale Bank Premier League, in which Aberdeen were at home to St Mirren. The Dundee United Hearts match was postponed because of a waterlogged pitch. Celtic were in Edinburgh to play Hibs. It was Kilmarnock against St Johnstone, Motherwell Inverness, and Rangers against Hamilton. League leaders Celtic bounced back from the disappointment of dropped points at Hamilton to win 3-0 at Easter Road. Hibs have a share of second bottom spot.
So the final 5 minutes of the first half. Wilson for Celtic, and it was there for Majstorovic.
Say what? Defending, marking, there was none. Appalling. I think it's Deco and Tico, between the two of them, they ain't got a clue. They haven't got a Scooby where Majstorovic is.
Two players slipping and sliding. That was classy by Kyle. And Hooper for Celtic.
Oh, great save, brilliant play. But that's the best bit of play in the match by far. Mind you, that won't be difficult. Matt Brown saves the day.
And we've come to expect that Hooper will generally put them away from that sort of position. Nice pass, a measured ball. Stokes, and Hooper this time! There it is! Gary Hooper, back on the side, and back on the score sheet. And Celtic have the lead at Easter Road, with just over a minute left in the first half.
They were warm just, 30 seconds ago, and then they get just carved open again here. But I've got to say, you know, I think any striker, a top-class striker anywhere in any league, you'd be talking about this saying, you know, Sam, the word composure just comes to mind here, because he takes the touch, he just completely takes the defender out of the equation there with that touch.
Two strikers, Stokes and Hooper, trying to dovetail. And then Kyle. And from Israel. And big shot for a penalty. It's given. The errant challenge by Lewis Stevenson. And Celtic have a chance to make it 2-0.
We're blindsided this, but you know, well, he plays the player first, so he's spot on.
Will he score against his old club? He was on target from the spot against Hamilton late in that game at New Douglas Park. Here is Stokes. Second goal for Celtic. He finished from the spot with consummate ease.
Normally when you see players going down the middle, it's pinged, it's high, and it's into sort of the middle of the net. Nevertheless, it's all the same when it hits the back of that net.
Wilson is watching Galbraith. Look at the space here. Anthony Stokes. McCourt. Paddy McCourt. An important touch by Mark Brown.
That's a terrific save, and it might just give them a chance keeping them in this game.
Here's Aguirre. Here's Anthony Stokes. Brilliant! Second goal for Stokes against the team he used to play for. And the points are surely secure now.
I mean, you can see how tight the Hibs players are here. The one thing I will say, and I did say it earlier, Derek, they've got nobody on that post. They've got Lewis Stevenson shuffling between the near post and the back post. It's a real tricky one for Colin Calderwood.
Not much defending going on here. Anthony Stokes trying to make it a hat-trick. Off the line by Dicko.
Well, it's Dicko off the line, but it's Dicko's shocking positioning that actually plays him onside in the first place. Miles behind the rest of his back four. Then he stops. So, I mean, just defensively, and I can see why they've not been winning games, because when you haven't got a back four in place that are working together as a unit, it's always going to be difficult.
Tackle that time by Tico. Lewis Stevenson has been given a chance by Colin Calderwood. It was a favour when John Hughes was in charge latterly. And goes Ryder. And again is Stevenson. And it's Galbraith for Hibs. And oh, that's a bit better. That's a lot better. But what an important stop it was by Forster to deny Duffy.
Lovely little flick here. And Duffy, and the frame of the goal helps him out as well, but very important that he gets that large frame, that large arm, just stretch it up there, just fingertips it no more.
And Braith. Celtic now trying to make sure it's a clean sheet. And it is. 3-0, the margin of victory. Celtic atone for the midweek disappointment at Hamilton. Neil Lennon's men victorious.